name is Tom. I'm the writer and co-director of Charlie Harper, which is a movie about a relationship about a young man named Charlie and a young lady named Harper, and who fall in love and try to navigate their early 20s as they are kind of finding themselves and growing as individuals, and then trying to grow as a pair as well, and sort of investigating the inherent tension that sometimes occurs, and us watching to see if they can figure it out.
Tom and I have known each other since film school, and we were always working on one another's projects. And then, however many years ago, we just decided to join forces and start co-directing things together. And after making a short film and then talking about what would work well for a feature film, we just started talking about the very serious relationships we had both been in our early 20s, feeling like that movie doesn't necessarily exist the way that we would want to tell it. And then from there, just having a lot of different conversations about those, and then talking about what memory is and what nostalgia is. We were in our late 20s having those conversations, so we had just enough of a distance between that experience and where we were in our lives to talk about that. So we ended up writing and creating Charlie Harper with the idea of what's it like to be in a very serious relationship as you're still defining yourself as a person.
I mean, where we find Harper at the beginning of the film, she is trying to find herself and, find her identity, and she wants to be a chef and she loves cooking. She's dyslexic, and so she kind of struggled at school, and she has really found herself through cooking. And she meets Charlie and falls in love with Charlie. And I just think it's such a beautiful film. And when I read the script, I thought it was just so beautiful and nostalgic, and I wholeheartedly related to what Harper goes through and also what Charlie goes through. And I've definitely been in a relationship very similar, and so I really jumped at the chance to be a part of this project, because I definitely, when I have been through breakups in the past, I needed a Charlie Harper to watch for sure.
The film is nonlinear, so in the way that it's structured, in the beginning of the film, we're sort of seeing him looking back on the relationship and reflecting on that time period and what it meant to him. And you see both the nostalgia and also the history and sort of the hurt there. From Charlie's journey, I think, in this film goes from somebody who is scared of growth and ambition. I think, the environment that he grew up in is not one that sets the bar very high, and the tall grass can get cut at times. So I think he's always aware of his status and class, but he's really drawn to Harper because she's really ambitious and has this vision for herself that he wishes that he had. And he's both attracted and sort of scared of that, because he thinks that, eventually it's inevitable. She's going to find out that he's this shiftless dude and leave him. Where we see him at the beginning is a guy who is a little directionless and okay with that. And then by the end, I think there's been a growth. There's a lot of growth that, there's a nice scene at the end of the movie that the two characters, Charlie and Harper, are actually able to talk about what the relationship did for both of them, both good and bad, and kind of hold space for each other and acknowledge the good things that they both gave each other. In some ways, I think Harper is the catalyst for his growth, and he sort of recognizes that in the end, and is grateful for it. And so he is on a path when we first see him that is actually more evolved than the beginning. Yeah, it's an emotional movie, and there's some intense moments, but Tom and Mac and Emilia made it easy to sort of make these characters come to life. And I think in the script too, it's just both of their intents and motives were so clear on the page, and it was a really well fleshed out. Everything you needed was you weren't trying to make anything up. It was all there. I think both of us like Emilia said, I think did identify with our characters in a way that felt like we were both advocating for them, and like kind of that push-pull was there. And why is this not enough? Like, what is the ambition? What's the point here? Like, what are you actually striving towards? Like, why can't we just be content? And then her being like, well, no, that's such a cop-out and excuse, and you're just trying to stay stagnant.
I also think we were able to have a few weeks before we started shooting to really kind of get to know each other and build that bond. And Mac and Tom sent us these 36 questions to fall in love, and Nick and I asked each other questions and got to know each other. And I think in playing that kind of game, I also like learned about myself, and I had never answered those kind of questions. And so, I just it felt really nice to open up to Nick and be vulnerable. And then I think that was a great foundation to then dive into, the intense scenes that we had to shoot. The fact that we had so much trust. I mean, I think Nick is such a phenomenal actor. I've been a big fan of his, his other work. And I was just so excited when Mac and Tom said that he was going to be Charlie, because I think you're such a giving actor too. It's like when we had to do some of these big long scenes, and I can't think of a better scene partner to do them with, because you're such a giving and kind actor in every take. Nick gives just as much on my coverage as his coverage, and it was a joy to work with him and with Mac and Tom. I feel like it was just such a special film, and I hope that shines through in the film when people watch it.
I'll pay you later. That was really nice. Thank you.
I mean, once we kind of got into the idea that this was going to be two people wrestling with their memories, and not in a way where it's like, well, actually, the way I remember it, I was so great and cool, and she was wrong or he was wrong. It was more self-reflective in a lot of ways, and both of them earnestly wondering, have I made a mistake? Was I on my best behavior in XYZ moment? That the writing of it, it really became very organic. Like the structuring of it kind of fell into place very naturally. There wasn't a lot of as many outlines as you might think, the way that the movie is kind of bopping around in time. We kind of let the characters kind of guide. Scripts end up having a life of like personalities of their own, and the script kind of had an intuition for where it wanted to go and when it wanted to see certain things.
And it's also just so reflective of how we think about our past and how we tell these stories to ourselves. Whether you're thinking about something that you did that was great, you immediately wonder if you did something equally bad or terrible. And then, there's the inverse of that too. So when people ask us about also not only in the writing phase, but in the post-production phase, how much did the movie move around because it's nonlinear? Surely it could do that. There wasn't a lot of that. There's a little tinkering and little tidbits here and there, but largely the film's original state was sustained.
Thank you all so much for doing this.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
thanks
Thank
so
you
much.
so much.